la la, yeah, boy. La la la, yeah, boy.
Zone Beats, boy.
Subscribe to Kiwi Box. That's the one.
Kia ora team. So I've just got done watching the Wilder versus Breazeale announcement press conference, and it was pretty much what I expected. However, I was a little bit disappointed on the information given about Deontay Wilder's future network career. At this stage, he's staying a free agent, which maybe isn't such a bad idea, depending how badly you want money, I guess. He apparently had been offered a deal to make $100 million in 3 fights or 4 fights, and it wasn't exactly clear what the deal was. The details weren't exactly given. Some were saying it was including 2 Anthony Joshua fights, some were saying it was just 2 fights for $50 million, some were saying it's $100 million for 3, $100 million for 4. It was never clear. It was a DAZN offer, and it was around $100 million apparently, regardless of who it was going to be fighting against. But it was effectively getting Deontay Wilder on DAZN, and yeah, that's all we really know. So speculation about what was involved in the deal is pointless. Unless John Skipper comes out and says exactly what the deal offer was, don't bother. Now, like I said, I don't know if it's such a bad idea staying a network free agent. Whether that's actually true or not, we can speculate on that as well. As we know, Al Heyman seems to have a lot of power over Deontay Wilder. That's what it looks like anyway. But in this press conference, Deontay Wilder's made it clear that he wants to have control over his career. So we'll see down the line what happens. But for now, we have this confirmed fight. Deontay Wilder will be fighting his mandatory in Dominic Breazeale on the 18th of May at the Barclays Center on Showtime, non-pay-per-view, which I'm actually happy to hear about too. Deontay did cover a little bit about saving pay-per-views for extra special events, and this sure as shit just ain't one of them. Dominic Breazeale obtained a mandatory position through fighting Eric Molina. Pretty disgraceful, really. You know, it's a common theme with the WBC. Their mandatories are full of shit. The last mandatory was Bermane Stiverne, who had 1 fight after losing to Deontay Wilder, and he got knocked down in the first round by Derek Rossi, yet managed to get hold of the mandatory position due to Alexander Povetkin popping dirty for a, can't remember what exact, it was Osterine. But then that decision got overturned because the lab was deemed unfit for what they were testing for. So, but you know, the mandatory positions have been obtained without credit in the WBC in the last 4 years, in the heavyweight division anyway. But what it is good is it's going to get that mandatory out of the way, done and dusted, and maybe the next mandatory can earn their shot rather than being gifted their shot. The fight itself, I don't think it's extremely competitive, but Dominic Breazeale can take a shot. We've seen him being put on his ass multiple times by Anthony Joshua. Even when the fight was stopped, he was still getting up. The dude's got a heart of a lion. The problem is, he can't box for shit. His best attributes are continuous pressure while he's eating shots, blocking punches with his face, and he just keeps coming. Even if he goes down, he gets up and he keeps coming. We saw him in a great fight against Izu Yugano. He took a whole lot of hellacious shots, went down a couple of times. Even though he was exhausted, he kept getting up and made Izu Yugano gas out, got knocked down, and he couldn't get up. So well done to Dominic Breazeale in that fight. The Carlos Negron fight recently wasn't too bad either. It was worth a look. I think Negron did better than Breazeale was expecting him to, but nevertheless Dominic Breazeale did get the job done. Deontay Wilder's recent past, his last fight was in December last year against Tyson Fury. It was a great fight to watch. Tyson Fury was outboxing Wilder for the majority of the fight. However, he did get put down twice in the fight, and it was a controversial draw. I had Fury winning that fight, but it is what it is. It was a great fight. And the fight before that for Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, also an exciting fight. Ortiz was down multiple times, but he did come back and had Deontay Wilder extremely staggered and in trouble in the 7th round. I think it was the 7th round. And Wilder managed to get through that, come back and knock out Ortiz in the 11th. So one thing we do have to give Deontay Wilder credit for, when he's fighting, he's extremely exciting to watch. We cannot dog the man for that. However, as many have in the past, prior to Luis Ortiz, the quality of his opposition has been questionable. Does it mean much? Not really at this stage. Now, because he's fighting good opposition, we should be giving him the respect he deserves. And as for him not taking a multi-million-dollar deal to potentially get the fights that he wants to get, instead of having trouble with crossing networks and contracts and all sorts of things, maybe it's a good thing for the fans. It's possibly not the best thing for Deontay Wilder's pocket, but that's his bag, and why do we care what he's earning? We want to see him fight. Is that right? Or are we more worried about counting what money he's got in his wallet? I think from a fan's perspective, him staying a free agent isn't such a bad thing. It does give him the freedom to fight other guys who are tied into networks. Those who are calling him not signing with DAZN as a duck of Anthony Joshua, so be it. If you think it's a duck, you can think that way. Personally, I don't, because Anthony Joshua isn't the only fight at the top of the division for Deontay Wilder. If he wants to fight Tyson Fury and Deontay and Anthony Joshua, is he not better off being a free agent? Now, I know there's going to be some of you who are going to speculate, well, he's not actually a free agent, he's Al Heyman's slave. This could be true. But you know what? If Deontay Wilder keeps winning, it's not going to be long before we find out whether he's actually a free agent or not, because he's going to have to fight Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury to get the respect that he wants. And if he beats one of them, he has to fight the other one as well, doesn't he? And it's a hell of a lot easier to do that if you're a free agent, rather than tied into a certain amount of fights with one network. So I'm not extremely unhappy with the decision that Deontay Wilder has made at this stage. I'm glad he's getting this mandatory out of the way. It's just another roadblock that's going to be out of the way for the big fights that we want to see. And you know, it could be an entertaining fight still. Regardless whether you like Deontay Wilder, you love him, you hate him, watching his fights is always exciting, so get into it. Tune into Showtime on the 18th of May and enjoy the lead up to the fight. There's a lot of bad blood between Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale. There's some unresolved issues due to an altercation they had. Geez, what's it? A couple of years ago now, where after a fight between Izzy Ugano and Dominic Breazeale, Marcellus Wilder at the fight poked his nose in and started giving Dominic Breazeale a bit of grief. And Dominic Breazeale said something along the lines of, "If I was in the ring with you, I'd kill you." A figure of speech. I'm sure it wasn't an actual threat, but Marcellus Wilder took it as an actual threat, went crying to his brother, and after Deontay Wilder had finished his fight with Gerald Washington, he made his way back to the motel, trying to find Dominic Breazeale. Apparently, he says in this press conference, he went in by himself looking for Dominic Breazeale before an altercation happened when he did find him. But, you know, I've seen a video. There was a hell of a lot more than just Deontay Wilder there. There was at least 20, more like 50 people there when the altercation was happening. Dominic Breazeale brought this up, talking about now it's going to be time for Deontay Wilder to step into the ring mano a mano, one-on-one. It's going to be a different story to when you had your 20 cronies around. And they got into it. I'll leave the link in the description so you can go and watch the presser yourself. But that bad blood is certainly going to make for a more entertaining fight on the night. Both these guys want to knock each other's heads clean off. So, yeah, very interesting. But the fight itself, I think Dominic Breazeale doesn't stand a lot of chance in this fight. Credit to the guy, he's got the heart of a lion. He will keep getting up. But the problem is, he's slower than a wet week. His defense has a lot missing from it. It's almost non-existent at times. He gets hit so bad and so hard so often, he's not going to be able to take much from Deontay Wilder. He does come forward and pressure while he's eating a lot of punches, but I just don't see him being able to do too much to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder can get out of the way of slow ass punches. He can throw his own encounters, and I just don't see Dominic Breazeale being able to take punishment for more than 5 or 6 rounds before he ends up either sparked, knocked out, or the ref's gonna stop it because his face is all messed up. So yeah, I'm putting the chances of Dominic Breazeale winning this fight at 10%. So let us know what you thought of the presser, some of the comments made in the presser, how the fight's gonna go, and the method of the win by whoever you think's gonna win. Hope you've enjoyed this bit of a chat video. You can leave some comments in the section below. Look forward to a bit of conversation. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Big Boys Boxing, we out. So.
La la, yeah, bon. La la la, yeah, bon.
Zone beats, boy.